G'day and welcome to Become the Teapot. I'm Ian.
And core blimey, so am I. And this here is a podcast about comic books and their adaptations.
And as you can tell by our pitch perfect Cockney accents, this week we're talking about The Boys, Season 1.
Struth, me old mucker, that's right.
Ian, what did you think of The Boys Season 1?
The Boys, Season 1, I thought it was really bloody good. Bloody excellent.
You can stop the quasi-Australian Cockney voice now.
I can't help it.
It's weird because he's a Kiwi, but when he does Cockney, he comes out Australian. It's odd.
Yeah, oh well. I like this take on if soups were real. Of course, you'd have companies that were trying to make cash off them, you know, films, theme parks, whatever. And yeah, I believe they would have to sweep some stuff under the rug.
Yep.
Have you, well, I'm assuming you've watched this before. Is this your second time of watching it?
This is, yeah. I watched both seasons of The Boys as they came out, and I enjoyed them. But if I'm being honest, I wasn't particularly enthusiastic about revisiting them.
Okay.
Part of me just, I don't know, maybe it's because I don't particularly enjoy rewatching series as anyway, seasons of programs, because it's a time commitment that I don't have and would rather be watching new things. But also, part of me was just wondering if I'd enjoy it as much the second time around, knowing what was going to happen, etc. But, you know, I'm happy to say, yeah, this is my second watch, and I was proved wrong. I think within the first episode, I was fully back in, and I ended up binging about 5 of the 8 episodes in one sitting. So, yeah, no, I think it does hold up to rewatches. I really enjoy it. We will go on to the comics later, but I think what the show does well is it gives each of the characters, particularly the superheroes, a lot more focus.
Yes.
And it makes it much more of an ensemble piece. And as such, it makes you like them more, or maybe not. It makes them more sympathetic, maybe not. Hold on a second.
More human, but
More human,
they're
yeah.
soups.
I think this is it. Even if they're not sympathetic necessarily, they're certainly more understandable. So yeah, no, I did enjoy it. And this is, my second time watching it. How about yourself?
Yeah, no, same. I watched it when it first came out. Same with season 2, and I'll do the same with season 3. I love the opening scene. It's a hell of a way to bring you into this world. The death of Huey's partner.
Yes.
And it's literally like, right, okay, it's that kind of show. Just straight in there.
Yeah, I think these mission statements that you need at the beginning of a show like this is to really let people know whether it's going to be for them or not. You know, it's a scene with gore and violence and sort of a callous disregard for life. And it sets the scene well of what we're dealing with. Yeah.
I don't know who you would necessarily class as the main character. I don't know whether it would be Huey or Butcher. In my eyes, it's Huey.
Yeah.
Because he's the new one.
Yeah.
And often the new one's the main character. The same with the 7. You've got Starlight.
Yes. No, certainly with the comic book, I would say it was Huey. I think, as I said, the TV show makes it a little bit more ensemble-based, but I would still probably consider Huey the main character because he is your audience surrogate, as it were, this introduction to the world of superheroes and the boys. He is the one who gets things explained to him, so he tends to be your eyes and ears as the viewer.
Which, first time I watched this, when it first came out, I didn't realise that he was the son of Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan.
He is, yeah, Jack Quaid.
I mean, the last name should have been a bit of a tip.
Yeah, it would have given it away, yeah.
I mean, as you said about the characters overall, there is a lot of character arcs in this, and you see them grow. You know, I'm talking about the boys, and I'm talking about the 7. Well, actually, should we sort of do a little quick character rundown of the boys to start off with?
Yeah, let's do the boys to start off with, because there's a lot of characters here. So, go for it.
Well, you got Huey.
You do?
So actually, he's the new guy. He's the eyes and the ears, like you said. He's the one that's brought into this, or almost sort of like forced into it almost. And he's been tricked. So he thinks that he's working with the FBI. So he thinks he's doing good. And then he realizes very early on, sort of end of episode 1, actually, you're not the FBI. You've been lying to me. It's like, yeah, well, you're part of this now, so help out.
Yeah.
All right. Fine.
But then in episode 2, he does make a conscious decision whether to participate or not, and he makes that decision of his own volition. So
yeah,
this is it. He's a little bit tricked at the beginning and then has to decide whether he's in or out and makes that decision in the second episode.
I would say that him and Butcher are quite similar in certain ways. They both lost someone for soup reasons.
Yeah.
They want to do the right thing, but it's clear that Huey's being corrupted and Butcher wants him to hate Soups as much as he does.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. I think Butcher sees someone like him in Huey. And like you say, he's trying to sort of morph him to be more like him. It gives a good dynamic to those two characters. You know, you've got someone who's obviously made it his whole life's mission to get revenge. I think, can't remember how many years they said it had been since his partner had disappeared in the show. But
About 8.
8 years, yeah, something like that. And obviously that's been eating him up this whole time. It creates that interesting dynamic between the two and how two people respond to grief. And you do wonder what Huey would have done if Butcher hadn't have stepped in, if Huey would have just gone back to, like his dad said, you know, not fighting and just wallowing.
Wow, talking about Billy Big Balls Butcher,
Yep.
as I like to call him. I mean, yeah, he's a horrible person. Somewhere deep down he does care. But he's an absolute prick. He's a twat. He's a C word that I will not say on the podcast.
He's all the words he throws around for other people,
Yeah.
isn't he? Yeah, no, he is. The thing is, he's sort of charismatic in a fashion. He's very likable, but his actions are terrible. But, you know, you can see why someone might follow him.
Yeah, there's one thing that I do love about him, and that is he gives the best speeches ever. That Spice Girls speech, bloody hilarious. Is like, when they're on their own, they can't do anything. When they're together, Spice Girls. Yeah, it's so funny, and you kind of think, where's this speech going? And then the end of it, you're like, well, now I want to join the boys.
Or the Spice Girls, yeah, one or the other. Other members of the team, you've also got then Frenchie.
Crazy but sweet.
Yeah, essentially that's his role here, which is kind of his role in the comic book as well. You've got Mother's Milk. MM, who's OCD.
Yep.
I don't know what his role on the team is. Sort of second in command, I suppose. Organisational.
Yeah, you kind of feel that when he's there without Butcher, he's the one they go to, or he's the one that is put in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems to be logistics, that sort of position. Is he can make things happen for Butcher. But, you know, I like him.
I do quite like him and Frenchie, the way they talk to each other. It's like children that have been friends for years, but they hate each other, but they don't really.
Yeah.
I think deep down they do care about each other, but those childish comebacks and the name callings, and there is history there with what happened with Frenchie and someone's kids, but I'm not really going to go into
Mallory.
that. Yeah, so there is a reason there for the hatred, but I think they can probably look past it because of all the other horrible things that they have done together.
Yeah. And then lastly, you've got introduced in the show about halfway through the series, the female.
Yes, or Kimiko.
Yes, we give her a name. I'm not sure she has that name in the comic book, but yes, Kimiko.
Not the one that we read, no.
So, straying dangerously, as is she is in the comic book, into the silent Asian protagonist badass trope that we have touched on in this podcast before. I can't remember the exact episode, but yeah, I mean, she does a good job with what she's given, I feel, but she is very much the badass Asian fighter who doesn't say much.
Yeah, the actress does a really good job of that quiet look. So I don't know whether she's really scared or she will tear your face off. And again, like we said, she's got a bit of a character progression in the first season.
Yeah.
Well, I say first season. She comes into it episode 4 of 8, so about half a season.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she does learn to trust the boys, especially Frenchie.
Yeah.
And you do see that she comes out of her shell a lot more, and you get little glimpses into her past.
Yeah. But whatever you do, I suggest you don't get killed by her. She played Katana in Suicide Squad.
Oh, I thought I recognised her.
Yeah, so she was in another comic book adaptation before, and she played another more or less mute Asian badass.
Oh, well, there you go.
I feel that this is a better role than that, at least.
And this here is a podcast about comic books and their adaptations.
Oh, wait, that's
it.
my line.
Sorry.
We can swap if you want.
Okay, this is insane.